Hello, this is Questionable Coding with Vladimir, and today we're going to talk about an interesting topic, top 5 data structures that you need to master before your next algorithmic interview. I think it's a pretty lightweight topic because we won't go into depths and we'll just cover what is the most important stuff to concentrate on before you approach an interview. So the 5th place goes to a data structure called linked lists. You may wonder if they are really useful because you don't use them in your real life, right? And yeah, that's a valid concern, but during interviews you should think about linked lists as a limitation. Usually you don't use linked lists to improve your solution to find better runtime complexity or something, but usually it's something that tests your skills to follow pointers or just to think about the problem when you have some constraints. So yeah, I think it's a good idea to have it in your toolbox, and it's highly likely that you will encounter one or a couple of questions devoted to linked lists. So the 4th place goes to trees, and I'm talking about binary search trees and just simple binary trees. So interviewers really like those questions because it usually shows how you deal with recursion, and that also shows how you deal with such abstract things. How can you follow such hard flows? And trees, yeah, they are pretty popular. So usually when there is something about trees, you either get a binary search tree problem or just a binary tree problem, and usually that's essential. So you need to keep to pay additional attention to what type of tree you are given. So usually when you have a question in an interview question, there is nothing that is redundant there. So you need to use all the information you have, and there is some difference between those types of the trees. So yeah, you need to master it, master recursion with the trees. It's vital for your interview. The 3rd place, it goes to graphs. So it's a very hard topic in my opinion, and for graphs, there's a variety of tasks that you need to do with graphs. I think that's the most complex data structure in our list. And yeah, I would pay a lot of attention to how you traverse a graph, like the DFS approach, depth first search, or BFS, breadth first search. You need to know them equally well, and try to solve as many problems regarding graphs. It will also cover trees partly in some way. So it will be absolutely useful, and I can't imagine an interview where you won't get a graph problem. So the 2nd place goes to a data structure which we're very familiar with, called array. And you may wonder, why do I include an array in this list? There are a lot of more complex data structures, and with arrays we work on daily basis. And I would say that you are mostly right, but a lot of people, they forget that arrays, that a lot of operations with arrays have their different big O complexity. So one can be like operation like pop will be a constant operation. So we just remove a topmost element from the array, and it costs us almost nothing. But if we'll shift the first element, we'll have to reindex the array, and it will require linear time. So there are a lot of not obvious things regarding array operations, which usually are built in the language, but it doesn't mean that we don't need to know about the complexity. On the opposite, we need to know them super well. So yeah, that will just influence your estimation for big O complexity, which is very important. So you need to know the arrays and how those methods are implemented in your language. And the 1st place. So the 1st place goes to a data structure called map, which is extremely useful. So a lot of tasks, like 1/3 or maybe 1/2 of the tasks, are using map in some way, and it's very important to build the skill of spotting the map. So when we start to talk about constant time for lookup for some element, you need to immediately think about, can I use map here? And map is a pretty easy data structure. That's why it's valuable. So it brings a lot of value, and it doesn't require that much effort to master it. So I think that's the list. Of course, there are more data structures that will be useful at some point, but before approaching any interview, please make sure that you know all 5 that were listed quite well, because that's most likely you'll get each of them during the session. So thank you for your time. Please subscribe if you didn't do that. So, and see you next time.